Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky shared a video message yesterday. He said, and I quote, "Ukraine hopes to hold a peace summit this autumn." He further said that he was working with Ukraine's allies to build more support for peace talks. Zelensky reiterated that peace meant a complete withdrawal of Russian troops and the full restoration of Ukraine's territorial integrity. Niger's self-declared military leader said he will not reinstate President Mohamed Bazoum. This is despite mounting international pressure to free the democratically elected president. Remember, Bazoum was detained by his elite guard troops last week. Niger's General Abdurrahmane Tiani said he will not bow down to recent sanctions against the country's army. He also called the sanctions inhumane and an interference of Niger's internal affairs. Fighting between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces intensified yesterday. A heavy gun battle took place near a military base in Sudan's capital, Khartoum. Both groups claimed they inflicted heavy losses on the other side. Sudan's army also claimed that they captured at least 14 RSF fighters during the clashes. Thousands of Israelis marched in Tel Aviv yesterday. They called for a rollback of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's Judicial Overhaul law. The demonstrators also demanded that Netanyahu step down as the Prime Minister. They accused Netanyahu of weakening Israel's democracy. Iran's Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdollahian arrived in Pakistan's capital Islamabad today. He is on a two-day visit to the South Asian nation. The Iranian Foreign Minister will meet his Pakistani counterpart later today. He's also slated to meet Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif on the 4th of August. Pope Francis said that the Church needed to accept its atrocities and listen to victims. This was during his visit to Portugal's capital, Lisbon. The Pope said that reports of sexual abuse by the Church had led to people's detachment from the Christian practice. The Pope is expected to privately meet abuse victims during his trip. At least 9 people were killed during a police raid in the Brazilian city of Rio de Janeiro. This is part of a week of deadly raids that have left at least 43 dead in the country. The Brazilian police were reportedly cracking down on criminal groups. Police officials say they confiscated small arms and 350 kilograms of narcotics. This was the second police raid in Rio de Janeiro this week. Officials claim that at least 19 gangsters were killed last Friday. The police raids have caused mass protests across Rio City. The South American nation of Bolivia is on high alert. Officials have launched a manhunt to track down an alleged drug trafficker, Enrique Marcé. Bolivian police officials raided Marcé's properties yesterday. They confiscated weapons, drugs, several vehicles, and endangered animal species. Marcé is a citizen of Uruguay who came to Bolivia in 2018. He is currently wanted by Interpol, US authorities, and at least 7 South American nations. The US Capitol building was on a brief lockdown after an active shooter call on Wednesday. Police officials cordoned off the area as they swept through the Capitol's Senate building. After searching for hours, police officials said there was no shooter at the site. They later declared that the active shooter call was a hoax. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his wife Sophie are separating. They are parting ways after 18 years together. Trudeau's office said that the two have signed a legal agreement. However, they did not disclose any further information. 2 people have reportedly died in Japan's Okinawa as Typhoon Khanun continued to bring heavy rain and strong winds. A total of 41 people in Okinawa and Kagoshima prefectures have been injured. Meanwhile, some 166,000 households have been out of power since Thursday morning. Naha Airport, located in Okinawa's capital city, has resumed operations after being shut for 2 days. However, hundreds of flights still remain cancelled. Meanwhile, rescue and relief efforts are underway in China's flood-hit areas. Rescuers have been working around the clock to help people that are affected by torrential rainfall. Persistent rain has caused rivers to swell, damaged bridges, cut off water and power supplies, and led to the evacuation of locals. The economic losses brought by the disaster are still being investigated. South Sudan is simultaneously drowning and drying as the climate crisis tightens its grip on the country. A unique combination of catastrophic floods and devastating drought are driving hunger to unprecedented levels. 2/3 of the population are facing dire levels of hunger. Strong winds were blowing around northern France as summer storms hit the region. This comes as a stark contrast to the heat waves that have been affecting much of southern Europe. Wind speeds were expected to reach 80 kilometers per hour in some areas of northern France. A fierce wildfire has ripped through California's Mojave Desert. It has left a trail of destruction. The U.S. National Park Service said that the fire was the largest seen in the protected Mojave National Preserve since records began. As of Wednesday evening, it had claimed over 80,000 acres of land. Iran declared Wednesday and Thursday public holidays. This was due to unprecedented heat. The government also asked the elderly and people with health conditions to stay indoors. This week, temperatures soared to 51 degrees Celsius in some parts of the country. The Latin American nation of Chile has reported record high temperatures. It reached as high as 37 degrees Celsius. The hotter temperatures are in part due to the El Niño weather phenomenon. The heat is expected to last until the end of the week. Tokyo has been battling a recent heat wave. Temperatures have reached 35 degrees Celsius in many areas. People in Japan's capital city battled the heat with portable fans, umbrellas, and ice cream. South Korean farmers have called for stronger preparations for global warming. They have asked the government to build more facilities to prevent damage from extreme climate change. In July this year, torrential rains across South Korea destroyed fields and neighboring farms. In the city of Nonsan, nearly 1,700 farms were damaged due to the heavy downpours. A pair of endangered red panda cubs have been born at a zoo near London. Authorities have said that the cubs won't be named until they receive their first vet check at 8 weeks old. Red pandas are listed as an endangered species by the International Union for the Conservation of Nature. Roughly only 10,000 of them are left in the wild. Moving to business and tech news, according to reports, Swiss investment firm UBS is laying off employees from Credit Suisse's investment bank in New York. The layoffs could come as soon as this week. However, the report does not mention the scale of the potential job cuts. UBS has also decided to close Credit Suisse's office in Houston, Texas. The Houston office used to handle business with the oil industry. Earlier this year, UBS agreed to buy Credit Suisse for about $3 billion. Financial firm Wells Fargo has said it will commit $60 million to the non-profit organization Concordance. Concordance helps workers with criminal records re-enter the workforce. Wells Fargo has said it will also consider hiring individuals with criminal records in the future. In recent times, American companies have been advocating the hiring of people with criminal records. This is both to give them another opportunity and to cope with a shortage in the labor force. Bank of America Global Research has forecast a soft landing for the U.S. economy. This means it expects the U.S. economy to slow down but avoid a recession. The firm has also increased its 2023 economic growth outlook for the country. It sees America's real gross domestic product growing by 2% on an average this year. This is up from a previous forecast of 1.5%. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has voiced more objections against Fitch Ratings. This was over Fitch's downgrade of the main U.S. credit rating. She called it, quote-unquote, entirely unwarranted. Yellen said Fitch failed to take into account a resilient U.S. economy with low unemployment, falling inflation, and continued growth. On Tuesday, Fitch downgraded America's credit rating from AAA to AA+. The share prices of China's Evergrande Property Services Group tanked by 50% on Thursday. This is after the trading of its stocks resumed after 16 months. Trading resumed after the release of its financial results and the end of an investigation into its parent company. The property services firm was dragged into financial trouble in mid-2021. This was after its parent company, China Evergrande Group, became embroiled in a debt crisis. Sam Altman's cryptocurrency project WorldCoin has said it will allow other organizations to use its technology. The technology helps in iris scanning and identity verification. It claims to have various possible applications, including distinguishing humans from artificial intelligence. Altman, the CEO of ChatGPT maker OpenAI, launched the WorldCoin project last week. Meanwhile, Kenya says it has suspended the local activities of the WorldCoin cryptocurrency project. The Kenyan government is assessing its potential risks to public safety. Since last week, hundreds of Kenyans have reportedly been queuing in long lines in malls and public centers across the capital, Nairobi. Many of them said they came after hearing that free money was being given in exchange for a scan of their eyes. The WorldCoin project requires users to give their iris scans in exchange for a digital ID and, in some countries, free cryptocurrency. Reports say e-cigarette maker Juul is seeking to raise about $1 billion. It's reportedly working with the investment firm Jefferies Financial Group for the fundraising. Last year, Juul had said it was in the early stages of exploring options including financing alternatives. This was to protect its business and help refinance an existing loan as it dealt with lawsuits over the marketing of its e-cigarettes. Apple's high-yield savings account has reached over $10 billion in customer deposits. In April, the tech firm partnered with Goldman Sachs to launch the deposit account. They let Apple Card users earn an annual yield of 4.15% on their savings account. In March, Apple also launched its Buy Now, Pay Later service in the US. These moves come as the company seeks to expand its footprint in the financial technology space. Senegal has blocked access to the social media app TikTok. This comes as the country seeks to widen a clampdown on dissent. A minister said that TikTok was being used by people to spread hateful and subversive messages. This is days after the Senegalese authorities dissolved the main opposition party and detained its leader. The country has been undergoing political unrest. This has damaged Senegal's reputation as the most stable democracy in West Africa. Moving to sports, in cricket, India will play their first T20 match against the West Indies today. India has rested senior players like Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. Hardik Pandya will replace Sharma as the team captain. Tilak Varma and Yashasvi Jaiswal have been included in the Indian squad. India and the West Indies will play a total of 5 T20 matches. Indian batters KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer have been ruled unfit to play. They will miss the Cricket Asia Cup in September. Both players are recovering from injuries. However, the Indian team's medical staff said that Rahul and Iyer could make a comeback before the World Cup in October. England pacer Stuart Broad has announced his retirement from professional cricket. His final match was the 5th Ashes Test, which England won. Broad will, however, continue to play domestic cricket. He has also taken up a new role as an anchor for cricket coverage. In football, France thrashed Panama 6-3 at the FIFA Women's World Cup. Panama took an early lead with a goal in the second minute. Then, French forwards hammered 5 goals one after the other, taking the score to 5-1. Panama put in 2 consolation goals, but the match eventually ended 6-3. With the win, France are through to the knockout stage of the World Cup. They'll play their next match on the 8th of August. Meanwhile, Brazil were knocked out of the Women's World Cup yesterday. This was after they drew 0-0 against Jamaica. This is the first time that World Cup giants Brazil failed to enter the round of 16. Meanwhile, Jamaica have reached the knockout stages of the Women's World Cup for the first time. They will play their next match on the 8th of August. German club Bayern Munich won a 7-goal thriller against English club Liverpool. Bayern won the pre-season friendly 4-3. The match was played at the Singapore National Stadium. Bayern will next play Ligue 1's AS Monaco next Monday. Meanwhile, Liverpool will play their first English Premier League match against Chelsea on the 13th of this month. English club Manchester City have agreed to sign Josko Gvardiol. Man City have struck a deal with German club RB Leipzig for the Croatian defender. According to reports, the deal is worth over $98 million. 71-year-old Gvardiol is considered a promising centre-back by clubs across Europe. Italian goalkeeping legend Gianluigi Buffon has retired from football. The 45-year-old is hanging up his gloves after playing professional football for 28 years. During his career, Buffon won the 2006 FIFA World Cup. He is Italy's most capped goalkeeper of all time, with 176 matches under his belt. He has also won the Serie A title 10 times. Buffon made his debut for AC Milan in 1995 when he was just 17 years old. In badminton, India's Srikanth Kidambi continues to advance at the Australia Open. He beat Chinese Taipei's Su Liyang 21-10, 21-17 in straight sets. The game lasted just 39 minutes. With the win, Kidambi is through to the quarter-final. Somalia's sports minister has issued a public apology. This is after a Somalian sprinter ran the slowest ever 100-meter race. The race was at the ongoing World University Games in China. Nasra Abubakar Ali finished her race in 21.81 seconds, more than 10 seconds behind the winner. The video of the race went viral and sparked outrage in Somalia. People demanded the sacking of both the athlete and the sports minister. Somalians alleged that the athlete was selected due to rampant nepotism in the nation's sports ministry. In the world of entertainment, Fran Drescher, the leader of the Hollywood Actors Union, has spoken out about how long the Hollywood strike will last. She said, and I quote, "We have financially prepared ourselves for the next 6 months. We are in it to win it." Drescher added that Hollywood studios and the AMPTP were offering compensation that amounts to less than what actors were making in 2020. AMPTP stands for the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers. It represents more than 350 companies. SAG-AFTRA, the American union representing striking actors, has raised $15 million in the last 3 weeks. The money has gone into the union's Emergency Financial Assistance Fund. Hollywood actors who contributed to the fund include Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, George Clooney, Jennifer Lopez, Matt Damon, Julia Roberts, Ryan Reynolds, and Blake Lively. Meryl Streep, who also is one of the donors, said she remembers being a waiter, cleaner, and a typist, and feels lucky to be supporting those who are struggling. Actor Gal Gadot has said that Wonder Woman 3 is in the works. In a recent interview, the actor said that she loves portraying Wonder Woman and it's close to her heart. She will be collaborating with new DC heads James Gunn and Peter Safran. The last Wonder Woman movie came out in 2017 and it was a blockbuster success. The 7th installation of the Scream movie franchise is officially in the works. The latest sequel will be directed by Christopher Landon. His previous movies include Paranormal Activity, The Marked Ones, Freaky, and Happy Death Day. The cast for the new movie include actors Jenna Ortega and Courtney Cox. Troubles are mounting for American singer Lizzo. In the latest, a documentary filmmaker has accused the singer of creating a hostile work environment. Sophia Nahali Allison said that in 2019, she traveled with Lizzo for her documentary. But Allison was mistreated and she walked away within 2 weeks. This comes just a day after Lizzo's former backup dancers filed a lawsuit accusing her of sexual harassment and creating a toxic work environment. Days of Our Lives cast members have reportedly filed a petition calling for a new leader on the show. The petition has been signed by 25 cast members. This comes after the show's director, Albert Allard, was accused of misconduct and creating a toxic work environment. Ever since the allegations came to light and an investigation began, not much has changed. In the petition, actors referred to the recent developments as traumatic and disheartening. Actor Leah Remini has filed a lawsuit against the Church of Scientology and its leader. She has leveled accusations of harassment, defamation, surveillance, and other behaviors that led to quote-unquote psychological torture. The actor joined the organization as a child in 1979 and left in 2013. She claims that mob-style operations and attacks have significantly affected her life and career. K-pop band Tomorrow X Together, also called TXT, is set to headline the upcoming Lollapalooza music festival in the American city of Chicago. The band first performed at the gala in 2022. Before TXT, BTS member J-Hope was the only K-pop artist to headline the festival. American comedian Marc Maron has said that the men who criticized the movie Barbie as being too woke are insecure babies. He called director Greta Gerwig's movie a monumental and a masterpiece. He went on to add that the movie explains feminist ideas in a funny way. The Barbie movie has made $780 million in the international box office. Actor Francia Raisa has broken her silence on claims that she was forced to donate her kidney to singer Selena Gomez. Raisa said, and I quote, "That was a time I just felt in my heart. No one forced me to do anything." She added that she donated her kidney out of the genuine kindness of her heart. The speculation began when Gomez referred to singer Taylor Swift as her only friend in the industry.